So as we're engaging in this element of incredible change that's happening here, as Moses is up there with God and the people have begun to turn their back on God and asked Aaron to, make them gods because they, whatever happens to Moses because he's in the mountain for 40 days. God speaks to Moses while they're up there, and all that is happening down in the camp. Moses is up in the mountain. Joshua is halfway down the mountain as he is waiting before God and for Moses. Listen to the scriptures now. God speaking to Moses says, "How quickly they have turned away from the way that I commanded them to live. They have melted down gold and made a calf, and they have bowed down and sacrificed to it. They are saying, 'These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt.'" Okay, as I read that to you, my heart, it's like, man, inside of me, like, Lord, how is it that we can so quickly forget what you have done for us as a people? I don't want us to sit here and look at the children of Israel and think, what a bunch of morons, even though they were. I think of how easy it is for us once we get away from that emotional encounter with God, that word that we said yes to, how easy it is that the distance away from that moment gets, that we can so quickly and so easily forget that all that God has done. And I want you to see that, nothing is done in secret. God knew exactly what they did. God knew why they did it and what was going on. He says to Moses, they have melted down gold and made a calf, and they have bowed down and sacrificed to it. They are saying, "These are the gods, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt." Then the Lord said, "I have seen how stubborn and rebellious these people are. Now leave me alone, so my fierce anger can blaze against them, and I will destroy them. Then I will make you, Moses, into a great nation." But Moses tried to pacify the Lord his God. "O Lord," he said, "why are you so angry with your own people whom you brought to the land of Egypt with such great power and such a strong hand?" So in this moment of intercession, we see how Moses stood in the gap as God looked. God saw that he could be good to his own word. Moses was still a descendant of Abraham. He could plant the seed and go through him and still fulfill all his promises. And Moses stood in the gap and said, "No, God, please don't. Have mercy." Jump down a couple verses here, and this is what God says in his word to us. So the Lord changed his mind about the terrible disaster he had threatened to bring on his own people. I love that, you see. Moses interceded, and God was about to bring judgment down upon the people whom deserved it. But God changed his mind through the intercessory stand of Moses. Ladies and gentlemen in the church, please hear this. Our nation deserves the wrath of God. We have turned our back on him. We have served other gods. We are offering sacrifices to everything in the world except for him. God's righteous anger burns against us, rightly so. We, church, need to stand in the gap and intercede for God's mercy upon our land. If the anger of God is not turned, judgment's coming. We know this. Let's not be crazy and just think like everything's just going to go on. This is not about the economy. This is not about anything else that's going on in the world around us. It is the judgment of God coming upon a people who have proclaimed his name and yet have turned to other gods. There is no question in my mind that we stand in line for God's judgment in this nation. And when we, men and women of God, stand in the gap and intercede, God can relent. Let's be his intercessory church today. Let's do that for our family. Let's do that for our friends and our nation. God bless you today.